Dismas, the patron saint of prison inmates. Luke's Gospel contains unique details of an event on Golgotha. Two unnamed persons are mentioned at the crucifixion. The Gospel of Nicodemus later names them Dismas and Justus. Two others also, who were criminals, were led away to be put to death with Jesus. One of the criminals who was hanged railed at him, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds, but this man has done nothing wrong." And he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And he said to him, "Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Luke 23 verses 32 to 43. This is all the Bible tells us about the penitent thief, but several points are clear. First, he is a criminal whose crucifixion for his actions is just. Second, he is contrite. Third, he believes in Jesus. And finally, Jesus' unlimited mercy is clearly shown as he affirms his salvation. There is no indication that this man was a Christian, yet Jesus assures him that he is saved and even promises, in most Bible translations, that he will go to heaven that very day. Although not formally canonized by the Catholic Church, it is believed that he was canonized by Christ himself at that moment. He is venerated as St. Dismas. In the Roman Catholic tradition, his feast is celebrated on March 25th.
Who is the patron saint of police officers? Angels have long played a role in the Catholic faith, from creation to Jesus' death and resurrection. Often depicted in art as chubby cherubs or serene figures with wings wearing white, angels are described by the Catechism of the Catholic Church as spiritual, non-corporeal beings that glorify God without ceasing and who serve His saving plans for other creatures. St. Augustine describes them as servants and messengers of God. Saint Michael Police. Angels are mentioned many times throughout the Old and New Testament, from when God revealed the Ten Commandments to Moses and said, "Behold, I send an angel before you to guard you on the way and to bring you to the place that I have prepared." Exodus 23:20-21, to when the angel Gabriel delivered a message to the Virgin Mary that she would carry the Son of God, and beyond. Angels bring us a sense of peace and security. How awesome is it to know that, as the Catechism of the Catholic Church states, from its beginning until death, human life is surrounded by their watchful care and intercession. Beside each believer stands an angel as protector and shepherd leading them to life. While there are countless angels, Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael are the only angels referred to by name in the Bible. These angels were each entrusted with extraordinary missions and played a specific role in how our salvation would play out. St. Michael, also known as an archangel, an elevated angel, is called Prince of the Heavenly Host, and is considered the leader of the angels. As a police officer's role is to protect the public from the activities incited by the devil, it is absolutely natural that Saint Michael is the patron saint. St. Michael defeats the devil. St. Michael battling Satan. As the patron saint of police officers, St. Michael knows what it means to face the threat of evil and imminent danger. Saint Michael had a long history of battling the devil. Throughout Scripture, he's the warrior angel, standing up to and defeating Satan many times. His largest challenge and triumph over evil takes place in the book of Revelation, 12-7-8, when the devil tries to revolt against God. There was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. St. Michael's powerful prayer. The prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel. Holy Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our safeguard against the wickedness and snares of the devil. Click to tweet. Is often prayed at the end of Mass and holds special meaning for those in law enforcement. The prayer came about as a result of a disturbing vision Pope Leo XIII received in 1884. After celebrating Mass, the pontiff was seen staring at something in space for a period of time with a look of horror on his face, when he suddenly collapsed. Those around him feared he had died, but the Pope regained consciousness and was said to have retreated to his private quarters where he wrote the Street Michael prayer. Pope Leo XIII never revealed exactly what he saw, and therefore, historians aren't exactly sure what the vision exposed. Based on the words in the prayer, however, it's clear that he saw a vision of some sort of evil and destruction. One version of the vision is that he heard a conversation between God and the devil, in which the devil said that he could destroy the church if he had time and power, 75 to 100 years. Another account indicates that the Pope saw a vision of the devil and other evil spirits trying to decimate the church, and then seeing Street Michael intervening and ultimately triumphing over Satan and all his evildoers. Although we don't know what horrific images Pope Leo XIII saw or voices he heard, it is a reminder to all of us that the dangers of evil constantly surround us. We must never take God's protection for granted, we must constantly ask for His saving hand to guard us. God also sends us Street Michael to be our intercessor against all that is wicked. Police have Saint Michael on their side. This powerful prayer is often said by police officers to shield them against the many dangers they face in their line of work. Whether it's in the form of a prayer card, medal, or car visor clip with the image of Street Michael, many law enforcers have found security and peace in carrying the saint with them. Giving the gift of a Street Michael devotional item to someone who works in law enforcement is a touching way to bring them peace and comfort, knowing that they'll have a warrior and the Prince of the Heavenly Host by their side.
Street Michael is a powerful ally when it comes to protection magic. I often use this ritual when faced with a situation where I feel threatened or fearful. I find it both useful and reassuring on an emotional level. To be honest, this one has never failed me. To perform a Street Michael protection spell, you will need the following items: a bowl of fresh water, an image of Street Michael, any type of red candle, a piece of parchment paper and pen, rosemary and peppermint, fresh or dried, any type of red flowers. Find a safe place to set up an altar. Get your image of Street Michael and place it upon your altar. Then, take your flowers and place them on the right of the image. Then take your bowl of fresh water and place it on the left of the image. Get your piece of parchment paper and write down what you wish to be protected from. It can be a person, situation, or even a general fear. Repeat this 2 more times. Then turn your paper to the right 90 degrees. On top of your issue, write your full name 3 times. Lay this flat on the table and sprinkle it with rosemary and peppermint. Place this in the middle of your altar. Get your candle and place it directly next to your parchment paper. When ready, light the candle and ask Street Michael to guide and protect you. You may also ask him to specifically protect you from your situation, person, etc. Of course, you can always recite the prayer to Street Michael written by Pope XIII in 1886, see below, or simply create a prayer of your own. Prayer to Street Michael. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. We are protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the Heavenly Host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl through the world seeking the ruin of souls. Eshu is not the same as Elegua, they're like 2 sides of the same coin, with separate but very closely connected identities. We can think of Eshu as Elegua's shadow, or his reflection from the other side of the mirror. In many ways, they're opposites. Eshu is wilder and more unpredictable than Elegua, so Santeros/as don't keep him inside the house. All Santeros/as have an Elegua who lives behind the door inside the house, but not everyone receives an Eshu. Usually, if someone needs an Eshu, he's given by a Babalawo, especially in Ifa-centric communities. Eshu lies outside the house, in the garden or tucked into a niche to the side of the front door. Both Elegua and Eshu are tricksters, but Eshu's tricks can be unpleasant or harmful. Outsiders have mistakenly called Eshu the devil. He's not. In Santeria there is no devil, But Eshu can definitely be naughty and we shouldn't play around with him, because he's a very powerful force when he gets stirred up. Traditionally, no one in Santeria is ever crowned with Eshu on the head, whereas many people are crowned with Elegua. No one wears a lex consecrated to Eshu, only to Elegua. According to the Patakas, Eshu loves to eat and can be calmed by food, so sometimes people place a wooden bowl of table scraps outside the house for Eshu. Elegua can also keep him under control, since the two of them understand each other and they often walk side by side. Metaphorically, Eshu and Elegua can be understood as polar opposites, the negative and the positive, the dark and the light. They work together to create balance in life, because without the negative, we can't appreciate the positive. Life is made up of both good and bad. Eshu isn't really evil, he's just a bit uncivilized compared to the other Orichas. In many isles, Eshu isn't considered an Arika in his own right, but is simply a part of Elegua. Regardless of how we imagine the Elegua/Eshu dichotomy, we can't conceive of Elegua without thinking also about Eshu. It would be like trying to understand the daylight if we had never seen night.
I assume you realize the futility of direct action against me. We have no wish for further loss of life.
The penitent thief, also known as the good thief, wise thief, grateful thief, or thief on the cross, is one of two unnamed thieves in Luke's account of the crucifixion of Jesus in the New Testament. The Gospel of Luke describes him asking Jesus to remember him when Jesus comes into his kingdom. The other, as the impenitent thief, challenges Jesus to save himself and both of them to prove that he is the Messiah. He is officially venerated in the Catholic Church. The Roman Martyrology places his commemoration on 25th of March, together with the Feast of the Annunciation, because of the ancient Christian tradition 3, that Christ, and the penitent thief, were crucified and died exactly on the anniversary of Christ's incarnation. He is given the name Dismas in the Gospel of Nicodemus and is traditionally known in Catholicism as Saint Dismas IV, sometimes Dismas, in Spanish and Portuguese, Dimas. Other traditions have bestowed other names. In Coptic Orthodox tradition and the narrative of Joseph of Arimathea, he is named Demas. 5-6. In the Codex Colbertinus, he is named Zoatham or Zoathan. 7. In the Arabic Infancy Gospel, he is named Titus. 8. In Russian Orthodox tradition, he is named Grok, Russian. 2 men were crucified at the same time as Jesus, one on his right and one on his left. 10. Which the Gospel of Mark interprets as fulfillment of the prophecy of Isaiah 53:12, and he was numbered with the transgressors. 11. According to the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, respectively, both of the thieves mocked Jesus. 12. Luke, however, relates. 39. Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." 40. The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation." 41. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we receive corresponds to our crimes, but this man has done nothing criminal. 42. Then he said, "Jesus, remember me, when you come into your kingdom." 43. He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." 13. Harmonizations. Various attempts have been made to reconcile the apparent contradiction between the account in Luke and the overlapping account in Mark and Matthew. Tatian omitted/rejected the Mark and Matthean tradition in his Diatessaron, and Ephraim the Syrian apparently followed suit. Origen of Alexandria, Eustathius of Antioch, and Epiphanius of Salamis describe the differences as reflections of different, yet complementary authorial intent. Origen and his many heirs promoted a chronological harmonization, wherein both thieves at first reviled Jesus, only for one thief to repent on the spot. Epiphanius, followed by Ambrose of Milan and Augustine of Hippo, contended that Mark and Matthew, for the sake of concision, employed a figure of speech called solipsis whereby the plural was used to indicate the singular. 14. Later commentators, such as Frederick Farrar, have drawn attention to the difference between the Greek words used. The two first synoptists tell us that both the robbers during an early part of the hours of crucifixion reproached Jesus, nu epsilon delta iota zeta omicron nu, but we learn from St. Luke that only one of them used injurious and insulting language to him, beta lambda alpha sigma phi mu epsilon iota. 15. Amen. Today, in paradise, edit main article, paradise. The phrase translated Amen, I say to you, today you will be in paradise in Luke 23:43. Mu nu sigma omicron iota lambda gamma omega sigma mu epsilon rho omicron nu mu epsilon tau mu omicron sigma nu tau pi alpha rho alpha delta epsilon sigma. 16. Amen soi lego semeron met musan toi paradisoi, is disputed in a minority of versions and commentaries. The Greek manuscripts are without punctuation, so attribution of the adverb today to the verb be, as Amen I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise, the majority view, or the verb say, as Amen I say to you today, you will be with me in paradise, the minority view, is dependent on analysis of word order conventions in Koine Greek. The majority of ancient Bible translations also follow the majority view, with only the Aramaic language Curetonian Gospels offering significant testimony to the minority view. 17. As a result, some prayers recognize the good thief as the only person confirmed as a saint, that is, a person known to be in paradise after death, by the Bible, and by Jesus himself. Thomas Aquinas wrote, "The words of the Lord, this day, in paradise, must therefore be understood not of an earthly or corporeal paradise, but of that spiritual paradise in which all may be said to be, who are in the enjoyment of the divine glory. Hence to place, the thief went up with Christ to heaven, that he might be with Christ, as it was said to him, Thou shalt be with me in paradise, but as to reward, he was in paradise, for he there tasted and enjoyed the divinity of Christ, together with the other saints." Unnamed edit only the Gospel of Luke describes one of the criminals as penitent, and that Gospel does not name him. Augustine of Hippo does not name the thief, but wonders if he might not have been baptized at some point. 21 According to tradition. 22. The good thief was crucified to Jesus' right and the other thief was crucified to his left. For this reason, depictions of the crucifixion of Jesus often show Jesus' head inclined to his right, showing his acceptance of the good thief. In the Russian Orthodox Church, both crucifixes and crosses are usually made with 3 bars. The top one, representing the titulus, the inscription that Pontius Pilate wrote and was nailed above Jesus' head, the longer crossbar on which Jesus' hands were nailed, and a slanted bar at the bottom representing the footrest to which Jesus' feet were nailed. The footrest is slanted, pointing up towards the good thief, and pointing down towards the other. According to John Chrysostom, the thief dwelt in the desert and robbed or murdered anyone unlucky enough to cross his path. According to Pope Gregory I, he was guilty of blood, even his brother's blood, fratricide. Dismas, edit Luke's unnamed penitent thief was later assigned the name Dismas in an early Greek recension of the Acta Pilati and the Latin Gospel of Nicodemus, portions of which may be dated to the late 4th century. The name Dismas may have been adapted from a Greek word meaning sunset or death. 4. The other thief's name is given as Justus. In the Syriac Infancy Gospels Life of the Good Thief, Histoire du Bon Larron French 1868, English 1882, Augustine of Hippo said, "The thief said to Jesus, the child, O most blessed of children, if ever a time should come when I shall crave thy mercy, remember me and forget not what has passed this day." 1919-20 Anne Catherine Emmerich saw the Holy Family exhausted and helpless. According to Augustine of Hippo and Peter Damian, the Holy Family met Dismas, in these circumstances. 25. Pope Theophilus of Alexandria, 385-412, wrote a homily on the crucifixion and the good thief, which is a classic of Coptic literature. Demas, edit in Coptic Orthodoxy, he is named Demas. 5. This is the name given to him in the narrative of Joseph of Arimathea. 6. Titus, edit the apocryphal Syriac Infancy Gospel calls the 2 thieves Titus and Dumachus, and adds a tale about how Titus, the good one, prevented the other thieves in his company from robbing Mary and Joseph during their flight into Egypt. Roch, edit in the Russian tradition, the good thief's name is Roch, Russian. Citation needed. Sainthood at the Catholic Church remembers the good thief on 25th of March. In the Roman Martyrology, the following entry is given: commemoration of the holy thief in Jerusalem who confessed to Christ and canonized him by Jesus himself. 26, on the cross at that moment and merited to hear from him, "Today you will be with me in paradise." A number of towns, including San Dimas, California, are named after him. Also, parish churches are named after him, such as the Church of the Good Thief in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, built by convicts at nearby Kingston Penitentiary, Saint Dismas Church in Waukegan, Illinois, the Old Catholic Parish of Saint Dismas in Cosley, and the Church of Street Dismas, the Good Thief, a Catholic church at the Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. The Eastern Orthodox Church remembers him on Good Friday, along with the crucifixion. The Synaxarion offers this couplet in his honor. Eden's locked gates the thief has opened wide. By putting in the key, remember me. Prayer and music edit. He is commemorated in a traditional Eastern Orthodox prayer, the Troparion to Diapnu, said before receiving the Eucharist, "I will not speak of thy mystery to thine enemies, neither like Judas will I give thee a kiss, but like the thief will I confess thee. Remember me, O Lord, in thy kingdom." 27. According to the liturgical scholar Robert Taft, this hymn was inserted into the Holy Thursday liturgy in Constantinople in the late 6th century. 28. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, one of the hymns of Good Friday is entitled, "The Good Thief," or "The Wise Thief," Church Slavonic, Res Boinica Blagarazum Nego, and speaks of how Christ granted Dismas paradise. 29. Several compositions of this hymn 30 are used in the Russian Orthodox Church and form one of the highlights of the Matin service on Good Friday. Drama edit. In Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, the main characters Vladimir and Estragon briefly discuss the inconsistencies between the four evangelists' accounts of the penitent and impenitent thieves. Vladimir concludes that since only Luke says that one of the two was saved, then the two of them must have been damned. Why believe him rather than the others? 31. In popular culture edit. The thief features in Christian popular music, as in Christian rock band Third Day's 1995 song Thief, and the name of the Christian rock band Dismas. The thief is the narrator in Sidney Carter's controversial song Friday Morning. 32. He is portrayed by Stelio Savant in the award-winning Good Friday film Once We Were Slaves, directed by Dallas Jenkins. 33. Street Dismas is central to the early plot of the video game Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, in which treasure hunter Nathan Drake uses a Street Dismas statue to aid in his search for pirate treasure. Dismas is the name of one of two starting characters in the video game Darkest Dungeon. He is also referred to as a rogue, thief, and highwayman in the in-game descriptions. A comic showing his backstory, as well as in-game item descriptions, implies that he is attempting to redeem himself after killing an innocent woman and her child. A special achievement is granted if both starting characters reach the game's final challenge, fittingly titled On the Old Road, We Found Redemption. In the 1967 romantic comedy caper film Fitzwilly, butler mastermind Claude Fitzwilliam, Dick Van Dyke, and his larcenous staff operate Street Dismas Thrift Shop in Philadelphia, a fictional charity where they send and store their stolen loot. Street Dismas is prominently mentioned throughout the 1946 film The Hoodlum Saints, starring William Powell, Esther Williams, and Angela Lansbury. Dismas Hardy is the main protagonist in a series of legal and crime thriller novels by John Lesquat. In the 2022 film Clerks 3, Elias mentions the good thief multiple times, quoting him as saying Jesus did no wrong, whereas we are but thieves. In a running gag, everybody hears but thieves as but thieves and wonders out loud what that means. In Poul Anderson's Technic History, a science fiction story cycle, Nicholas Van Rijn, 2376 to c. 2500, CEO of Solar Spice and Liquors, keeps a Martian Sandroot statue of Saint Dismas, to whom he frequently burns candles. At one point he runs out of candles and stuffs a large number of IOUs under the statue. He also comments, "Ho! Saint Dismas will think he was martyred in a grease fire."
Everybody in the business is a criminal. And how can you ever trust a criminal?
Around the rob with an arm and you